Trump is a horrible individual.
Do you mind me asking who you voted for?
Sure, Kamala.
And why did you vote for Kamala?
It was a process of elimination for me.
So you're not particularly enthused by her?
I mean, there is a factor in there of her being a minority and being a female, but I don't particularly know much about her views. She was a pretty silent VP. That being said, I did not want to vote for Trump.
Any women I speak to who voted for Kamala, women's health is the first thing they mention. It's obviously like the big issue on that front for so many. But on politics, what were the political issues that determined how you voted?
You know, a lot of things. I feel like living under Trump's presidency for quite some time, it didn't feel like politics. It felt like, a very different beast. And so I think that Kamala will be a good kind of intermediary between both sides to really progress the nation rather than have this little pony show that we've had in the past.
Yeah, what do you think 4 years of Trump would be like?
I hate to think that's the case, but I do think that there will be an underrepresentation of a lot of voices and a huge shift to more powerful billionaires.
We need to take our country back. It's about time.
And what do you mean take it back? Like what's wrong in the country?
Many things. We need the real borders, and we need real control. Less government and more power to the people.
And when you say
too many genders.
Too many genders.
Kamala Harris.
And why did you vote for Kamala Harris?
Because there really is no choice outside of Kamala Harris. The other man's a raving lunatic, so that's why I voted for Kamala. I don't want a lunatic as the president.
It's so interesting. You know, that's the overwhelming reason I've gotten from people. It's that, why did you vote for her? Because she's not him.
I mean, I think she's a bit of an unknown quantity, but I like her energy, and we'll see what happens. But at least I think her feet are on the ground. She's got a brain. This is what we want as the president.
The high prices that we have today, this is purely a result of the trillions that Biden and Harris, have thrown at the economy. When it was no longer needed, the economy was beginning to heal at that point. And the wars we've had. Under Trump, we had peace. We didn't have war in Ukraine. We didn't have war in the Middle East because our enemies seized upon the weakness of Biden and Harris to wreak havoc in the world. So for all of these reasons, I'm voting for Trump. Mainstream media has a stranglehold on the minds of people. I mean, the coverage of her has been like 85% favorable, and the coverage of Trump has been 85% unfavorable. So, and I think we're going to see more restrictions of free speech under her. I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see people just lose their fundamental rights under the Constitution.
And when you walk around with the Trump hat on, do you get much reaction from people in this part of the world?
I had a guy just down the block who said to me, best of luck for us today. I wear it because I think people have to understand that even in New York City here, there are people who can think and who support President Trump.
And why did you vote for Kamala?
I can't see another Trump election and a Trump presidency. It's just not what I need right now.
I said this to somebody else, but I mean, the amount of people who are voting for Kamala because she's not Donald Trump is remarkable.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that I love Kamala, but it's just that I hate Trump more. So
tell me, what is it you'd be worried about? Like, what would he do in the next 4 years? You think I couldn't live with that?
It's more so like the rhetoric and the whole like emotions of like going through life and trying to set like everything would just be every day's like when I remember in 2016 to 2020 was like another day, another tweet, another bad thing that was coming out or he was saying, and it was I don't really want it was very like depressing almost, so I really don't want to go through that again. So
for Kamala Harris as well.
And why did you vote for Kamala Harris?
I think she's a good candidate. Maybe not outstanding. Comes across a bit silly sometimes, but substantially better than the alternative.
What do you think? What direction do you think the country would go under the alternative?
So our fear a few years ago when Trump got elected the first time was America could potentially turn into Gilead. which we obviously don't want. It sort of really empowers the ultra right wingers to come out and just be unnecessarily aggressive, which is what we're seeing even through the campaigning process. So that's why that's really a big turnoff for us.
See, what are the big issues then in this election?
Yeah, I mean, like, looking for, normalcy. I think, the several years ago, without saying who I'm voting for, was a little bit of a crazy time to be here. So, we like to be citizens of the world and, be a part of institutions that other countries are a part of and be proud of that. And yeah, so.
That's interesting because you're one of the first people to mention that kind of worldview, we'll put it that way. Like, would you then be kind of looking at the different foreign policy positions, what they've said about those institutions, about the UN, about NATO, what have you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the idea of pulling out of world institutions and sort of being just about us and just about America. I think we're collaborators, we're a part of a larger world, and I think we should reflect that in the institutions that we're a part of.
What do you think 4 years of a Trump presidency would look like?
I'm an artist, and I noticed a significant difference between artist funding under Trump versus under Biden, and just like it was awful when Trump was president across the board. Plus, I don't want the Supreme Court to go further in his direction. So,
and what kind of nationally do you suspect are the big issues beyond, say, funding for the arts?
I think abortion's a big issue nationally. I think probably gun reform is a big issue, at least for me personally. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I feel like I'm in a bubble here in New York, so it's hard to know what people care about nationally.
Actually, I'm going to write myself in.
Oh, look at that. You're going to write yourself in for president?
Yes, I am.
So you're voting for yourself inside?
I am.
Have you been encouraging other people to write you in on the ballot?
Yes, indirectly, but more openly recently. Because there are people in presidential circles who have been trying to reach me to run with them a couple of times. I know that sounds a little mysterious and it's unfortunate, but it is important that we all get our voices out there and that we guide policy. I descend from the founders. I am a sixth-generation American. George Washington, John Adams, Abraham Lincoln, Alexander Hamilton's, and all these people are in my family tree, through common ancestors, marriage, and blood. So helping to lead this country is in my blood and bones, and I'm happy to do it.